Here's the deal with Chapman. In 2009, OG guitar YouTuber and blindfolded gear guesser Rob Chapman pitched an idea. He asked his audience to vote on the specifications for a brand new guitar. At the time, that was totally unheard of and resulted in a huge amount of hype in the very first Chapman Guitars ML1. And from that little seed of an idea grew this guitar company that flourished for years. For a time, it seemed unstoppable, dude, fueled by all this internet buzz and the backing of some incredible players, but, well, you're probably familiar with what's been happening with Chapman lately. Problems with production, internet drama, and a weakening artist roster have all taken a swing at him, and now it seems like people just don't care about him anymore. To be honest, I've never really been that bothered about him either, but lately, the little voice in my head just keeps whispering, but should we care, Jack? Are we missing out on something here? And, as you were probably expecting, the intrusive thoughts won. So today we're going to find out if Chapman Guitars is a brand we should care about. Welcome back, my dudes. I am truly stoked to see you. I'm Jack, and in this video we're going to be taking a proper look at this Chapman Guitars ML3 Pro Modern in probably the sauciest name I've ever heard, Liquid Teal. To be truthful, I'd never really been that bothered about Chapman Guitars until recently. They've always looked cool enough, but for whatever reason they just never really did anything for me. And over recent years they've received a fair bit of negative press that I don't think's done them any favours. It's not really my place to comment on all that drama though, but after I found this B-stock Chapman in fantastic condition for less than half its retail price, my lack of self-control made it my place to give you guys an objective look at whether this guitar is any good and whether I was wrong not to care. Let's talk specs first. The ML3 is obviously the Chapman T style offering, but it does a few things a little bit differently to its inspiration. It's got a 24 fret roasted maple neck with set through construction, a relatively shallow carved top body, a volute and an angled headstock. So it's almost like a Les Paul in a way, but it does retain the 25.5 inch scale length from like a Fender type instrument. At first glance you're understandably going to be like, well, that's just a Telecaster, especially with the reverse Tele-esque Chapman headstock, but when you sit with it and play it for a little while, you do realise that it's definitely got some Gibbo vibes. The design process for Chapman Guitars has historically been collaborative, and this selection of features is definitely a result of that, and it's awesome, dude. I think if I was going to spec out my own Tele, these are legitimately the things that I would do to it. Maybe minus the angled headstock, but just look at it, man. The carved and contoured basswood body dripping in this liquid teal finish, the roasted maple set neck, the Macassar ebony board with this singular 12th fret infinity hipster girl tattoo inlay, and the little touches like the veneered headstock face and the wooden truss rod cover. I can't find for the life of me what wood this veneer is, but it looks so good. It's no doubt a sick looking guitar, dude, and it's got the hardware to match. The frets are stainless steel, the bridge and tuners are both legitimate hip shot units. There's a Graphtec nut, you've got metal dome knobs, strap locks, and the most important part, the Seymour Duncan Pegasus and Sentient set. It's not good enough to just bundle a load of sweet parts together though, is it? A few of you guys actually have echoed a sentiment that I've seen online before, in that Chapman guitars feel a little bit cheap, so I was pretty apprehensive about what this guitar would feel like. Dude, this thing absolutely kills it. The quality of this guitar is just top tier. The only thing wrong with this particular guitar is that it's picked up a couple of finish issues while it's been on the shop floor, and you can hardly blame Chapman for that. And I've not let this guitar off lightly. I have scrutinised the shit out of every single part of it, because I bought it with my own eddies, so I can say whatever I want about it, but there is just nothing bad to say. If I was going to be hypercritical, I think this guitar must have had the same setup it did when it was taken out of the box and put on the shop floor, but it's entirely speculation because it's been played in a store, and that setup wasn't great. It had about a 2.5 to 3 mil action across the board, and there was still quite a lot of relief left in the neck. If I would have played it like that on the shop floor, then it's possible it might have put me off if I didn't know how to set up my own guitars how I like them. But that's it, that's the only problem I had. From a quality and construction standpoint, I am so impressed. And quickly, I just want to say cheers for checking out the video, dude. If at any point you find this video entertaining or helpful, feel free to aggressively drop kick the like button for me, or just click it, I guess, so that YouTube knows that it's a good one. And if you like what I'm doing here, I would love for you to stick around by becoming a subscriber. Thanks, mate. So once the slightly crap setup was sorted out and I got a chance to give it a good chugging over, well, I am kicking myself, dude. This guitar feels incredibly good to play, and I am gutted I didn't give him a chance earlier. The neck is described as a modern C. So that tells you absolutely nothing based on how many neck profiles there are out there that all feel completely different. What I can say though is that this one is particularly nice. In terms of thickness, it's pretty average. Not too thick, not too thin. Probably just right, Goldilocks style. But what I like about it is it feels like it's got a little bit more shoulder than a normal modern C, so it gives your thumb a little bit more meat to hang on to. Definitely not enough to be called a D profile by any means, but when you couple that with the rolled fingerboard edges and then absolutely killer fretwork, it's just an awesome neck. In terms of body shape, well, it's not really fair for me to criticise it based on how I choose to sit with a guitar. It is a telly after all, and they're just not that comfortable to sit with in a classical position. It's just how it is, but on the grand scheme of tellies, this one's really nice. The satin finish and the carved top feel great on the picking arm, and the hip shot bridge is just the absolute pinnacle of fixed bridges. No other fixed bridge is better, and I'll acknowledge the opinion and politely disagree with anyone who says otherwise. Alright, don't make me do that, but I will if I have to. Stupid. The real highlight though in terms of playability is the set through neck heel, or should I say complete lack thereof. Bolt on neck heels are getting much better, that's true, but nothing beats the feel of a neck through. From a playability standpoint, there's just no better way to join a neck to a body. It completely deletes any sort of obstruction that your hand might have when you're getting up to the widdly part of the neck. Even my main guitar, my Strandberg Burden Prog NX, probably one of the most ergonomic guitars in the world, still has a neck heel. It's incredibly good, but you just can't compete with having no neck heel at all. If you're someone who likes to play stud up though, then you need to know there is a little bit of neck dive on this guitar. It is a little bit neck heavy, nowhere near like SG levels or something like that, but it is there. I mean, it doesn't bother me personally at all because I'm sat on my ass all the time, but it is something that you need to know. Other than that, the combination of like glassy stainless steel frets, a really comfortable neck, and then the set through neck joint just make this an absolute pleasure to riff on, dude. Now, the sound. I was genuinely excited about this. My experience with Seymour Duncan has always been really good. Duncan are my absolute top pick for passive metal pickups every time, dude, but I had never heard the Pegasus and Sentient set in the flesh with my own ear rolls. Can I just say, what a sick name for a set of pickups though, man. Sentient and Pegasus, come on, dude. It's just dope. I should have asked Seymour Duncan to name my daughter for me and she'd have ended up like Spirit Caller Azure or something. Sick. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, but I love these pickups. They're not the highest output pickups that Duncan makes, and I love that about them. They're super well balanced and have this thick sound that's really well suited to modern metal playing. That said, they're flexible enough to handle all styles of music where a little bit more aggression is required, but they do have a softer, more sensitive side. They clean up really nicely and produce some awesome clean tones. One characteristic that puts this pickup set above similar pickups, in my opinion, is the pick attack and percussiveness these things have. Pick attack, percussiveness. Percussive pickups with pick attack. There's just a bite to every pick stroke that I just can't get enough of. You miss that on a lot of guitar pickups, but if you like that articulate, transient kind of thing, then these pickups make it super easy to get. Like I mentioned before, these are a great pickup set for modern metal players, but that extends into like progressive players too, and I think that's probably where they're best suited. In a recording context, the strong transients really help, and they're just a killer set of pickups for tracking any sort of driven guitar. The switching is pretty interesting too. This is another guitar that drops the push-pull pot idea and puts a selection of coils on the 5-way switch. Personally, I like that a lot more than having any sort of fiddly ass push-pull thing. I honestly never use a push-pull, I forget that they're there, so putting the options right on the switch gives me access to different tones straight away, which is sweet. Positions 1, 3 and 5 are exactly what you'd expect. Bridge, both, neck. Position 2 is the bridge humbucker with the outer neck coil, and then position 4 is the neck humbucker with the outer bridge coil. They're nice tones too, but if you've been around this channel a while, you know me by now. Bridge and neck humbucker is all I really want. I could live with a 2-way switch honestly, but for people who aren't a caveman like me, it's nice to have the options on the switch. So the big question, do I care about Chapman guitars now? Fuck yeah I do, this thing is sick dude. If you're a rock and metal player, which you probably are because you're watching my channel, then Chapman guitars should definitely be on your radar. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to comment on the stuff that surrounds Chapman, but like, you guys who got this far are good dudes, and we're all friends, right? Well, even as someone who didn't really give that much of a toss about Chapman, the whole debacle that happened a few years ago did leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I like Chappers, he seems like a happy, positive dude who just loves guitar, if not a bit of a meme. But that whole thing that happened did make me look at him differently, and then by extension the brand. And that's a real shame because none of us actually know the ins and outs of that situation. I can't imagine it's easy to see a company that you've put your heart and soul into come under fire either. Also, losing the absolute shining light that is Rabir Massad from your artist list, regardless of the people left on the roster, is a huge hit to the brand, regardless of whether it's something they could control or whether it was done for the right personal reasons. But here's the positive thing, even through all that, Chapman continue to make a great product. They're still making guitars that, having played this one, I personally think more people should be talking about and playing. This thing is right up there with some of the best guitars I've ever played at this price point. Even though I only paid 450 quid for this, which is an absolute steal, I honestly believe that it is definitely worth the grand that it's priced at. I personally would not feel shortchanged at all if I bought it at full retail. It's got the looks, the quality and the playability of a guitar that could quite easily become an everlasting name in the guitar industry, provided the company has the right management, the right players and the right instruments. Now, I am definitely not the person to be giving that advice, that's for sure. I can barely manage to do a kickflip consistently, but with the right people and ideas, Chapman could do it, and I want them to succeed, truly. But building a great guitar isn't an easy feat, it comes from years of hard work and innovation. If you want to see another example of a guitar that I think does it perfectly, then you can check out this video right here, and thank you so much for watching dudes, I appreciate you. Take care mate, stay safe. I'll see you later.